Hi, my friends. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant, a show where the characters are made up and the sorting absolutely does matter. My name is Rachel.
And I'm her best friend and co-host, Lauren. Every other week, we're going to invade a fandom and determine whether your favorite character belongs in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin.
We're the Harry Potter podcast that talks way more about any other franchise.
Here, we use the sorting structure from Harry Potter as a common language without supporting the author or her beliefs. As for the sorting itself, there's bound to be some arguments along the way.
But in the end, we're always right.
According to us.
According to us.
I'm trying to think of the theme music, which is the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and I was convinced it was a Yeah Yeah Yeahs song from the early 2000s, but it's a brand new one. It just sounds exactly like all their other songs.
Insert Yeah Yeah Yeahs theme song here. You just put it in. We won't get in trouble for copyright.
Absolutely not.
The mouse won't come for us.
Mm-mm.
He's gonna be outside your bed with a fucking bat tonight if you do that. Hi, everybody. We're discussing how to not get murdered by Mickey Mouse. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant. How are you, Lauren?
I'm good. How are you?
Hi, Hannah.
Fair.
Hi.
Nice.
Hannah's joining us today.
Yes, I invited myself.
Echo. Hell yeah.
This is my favorite
5
part
episodes we love.
of the Marvel Universe is the street level stuff. So
Street level stuff's my favorite.
All right. Someone explain that term to me.
The
Lauren
street
said
level?
earlier.
It's
Street
like
level.
it's the street. It's like Kate Bishop, and it's what Peter Parker's supposed to be.
it's what Spider-Man is supposed to be. Yes.
And it's they don't fight the
Daredevil.
in-space worldwide problems.
Yeah.
It's literally like there's something happening in Queens, and this is the superhero that's saving Queens.
In Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
They
street
all
level.
have. You could look at a map of
They're not big picture.
New York City.
They're not like Thanos or
No.
whatever. There's
Got
not.
it.
The world's not being invaded. It's literally like there's a bad guy on the streets of Queens, and I'm gonna beat him up.
I don't know if you saw last week on Twitter. There are rumors that Daredevil is going to be in Secret Wars or one of the big Avengers movies, and we were like, "What's he gonna do?" He's gonna cartwheel and then get conked out immediately. Yeah, no, it's
So is it not fair for me to call her a superhero?
No, they're still superheroes. It's just more grounded and it's
Real-
more
reality.
realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like,
Okay.
Rachel was like, she's a superhero. I was like, she's part of the mob. It's a mob.
Yeah.
It's a mob show.
I mean, so I really thought they were going to go full villain with her, but they do kind of try and make her a superhero, I guess, at the end.
I never saw her as a villain, so
Anti-hero-y.
I really liked her a lot.
Oh, I love her. She's great.
I didn't expect to like her. I sometimes struggle with superhero shows in general, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it a shot, whatever. And I ended up really loving her as a character, becoming very emotionally attached to her. So I'm glad she's not a villain.
Sometimes it's good to
Although,
root for the villains.
I was gonna say all those sub villains are really fucking cool. So
yeah, I don't know. Look at Hella. She's sexy. Has never done anything
she
wrong.
wasn't even wrong. She would have done everything better than the rest of them. She was right. Some of these hot, Hufflepuff unhinged ladies really get me. Not that I'm saying that Maya is absolutely not. I'm talking with, but Hella and what's her name, Lauren?
Regina.
Thank you,
Regina.
The Reginas.
But the one Regina. The Reginas.
I can't believe you forgot the woman that you sent for in almost every episode.
Both the
we're
Reginas.
not firing on all cylinders tonight. No, I'm not all here tonight. However, it's still going to be a really good episode because Hannah's here. Yay! So, what did we think of it as a series? What did we think of it as a 5-parter? How did you feel about it?
I liked it.
I loved it.
Liked it a lot. It was very short.
It was short.
I turned it on. I was like, wow, a 5-hour thing. I was like, oh, I got to fit this in. And then it was 3.5 hours. And I was like, oh,
it was
okay.
supposed to be 6, but the other episode that they were going to have Daredevil in a lot more, I guess, needed to be cut because they changed a lot of what
everybody
they had
hated that fight.
filmed.
Is there a reason this wasn't a movie?
Why did people hate that fight scene?
I don't know. I just saw that people did. It's not good. It's not big enough to be a movie. I'm assuming they didn't think people would care about it. They didn't give it a lot of promotion, to be totally honest.
Rude.
It is rude. Yeah. Because it's a great show. Shoshana Stern worked on it. There's our supernatural connection.
It performed really well, and it made a lot of people start or rewatch Daredevil and
Yes.
all the other Netflix things that are now
Can't believe they
canon.
found like Alekwa Cox, who plays Maya, is amazing, and she is
she's
actually
incredible.
deaf and Native American and does not have a leg. So like she was literally made for this role.
She's perfect.
Well,
Yeah.
they incorporated the leg thing into the role for her. I don't think that's actually part of the
That's
character in
amazing.
the comics. Yeah, so they incorporated that into the story for her, which is awesome.
She's very good, and they did an excellent job at the casting of the younger one too. Because
Oh my God, yeah.
they're perfect. That might be her cousin or something. Like they're fucking related for sure.
Maybe.
That was really good casting. It was amazing. It was so. I like sometimes it makes me feel even like worse for the character for our poor like abused protagonist. I'm like, oh, it really looks like you, and I can really relate now to the older one. That got me with Gamora too in the movies. That little Gamora really looked like her. I was like,
Little baby
you don't
is
deserve this little Gamora.
like whenever we got young Sam and Dean.
Young Sam was always really good.
Dean was
Young Dean is difficult.
awesome.
That's hard. Come on, no one.
But
looks
when
like
it
that.
was good, it was good.
Yeah. Still, the acting was great. There was that one where he was the teenager, like in high school. That was fun. I could believe
Yeah.
that.
Rock.
Jensen's hard, you know.
That kid who played him in the episode with Robin was good. I forget his name. When he was like
I don't
13
remember.
and he went to
Yeah.
Sonny's Home for Boys or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he was good. Yeah, he was cute. He had that '90s kid look.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah, the whole time I was watching Echo, me and the Marvel girls were every 5 minutes like, oh my God, the music is so good. Oh my God, the choreography is so good. Oh my God, the acting, like just every single thing, you could tell that they were just on top of their shit for
When
every
they-
single aspect of this show.
I think it was episode 3 in the roller rink with the Dragula. I was gone. I was like, fuck yeah. Rewind that whole thing. This is my shit. That was so good. Perfect.
God.
The fight scenes were really fucking good.
They were very good. It's very, well, you will have to watch Daredevil eventually because we're going to sort it.
Yes, ma'am.
But
You got it.
it's very much reminiscent of how much intentionality is put into every aspect of that show.
Yeah.
And made us immediately go, we have to rewatch Daredevil and The Punisher now because it just put us right back in that mindset of being in that world.
Yeah, sure. I also have to say, just by nature of like who Maya is, I really liked that I was forced to actually watch and not be on my phone. Because I have such a problem. I'm sure so many people have a problem with this now where you just start mindlessly scrolling. Can't do that with Echo. You have to pay attention or you're going to miss fucking everything. Like you have to be able to watch when she's signing, when she's speaking. And it forces you to be engaged. And I really liked that because it really, really made me pay attention. And I can't say a lot of shows have done that for me recently. I really just like get on Twitter or Instagram. It's bad. It's so bad. My attention span. It's gotten so much worse.
Yeah,
But-
I feel you.
I was really locked in. And they made a lot of just excellent choices throughout the show. I mean, everything you just said.
All the moments
good.
where they like made everything completely quiet to be like her point of view were just so good.
Yeah. Well, it was a hit to us. So it's a hit in general because we're always right about everything. So good show. Mostly we're probably going to be discussing Maya and Kingpin and then everyone who surrounds them, correct? We good?
Essentially, I guess.
Essentially.
Yeah.
We got opinions. We can't help it. So we'll talk about it all. But you know how this goes, Hannah? You are
I
kicking
do.
it off.
I do know how this goes. I've only listened to every episode.
You've only
sometimes.
worked intimately on every single piece of the
Yeah.
show and been on it several times. Yeah.
Well, do you want to start with Maya or with Fisk?
Doesn't matter to me. You're the guest. You choose.
Let's start with Fisk, I guess.
Okay.
Who I think is a Hufflepuff. Because he's just like a quintessential what a Hufflepuff looks like when they're a sociopath.
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't get the backstory in this show to like
He does. He tells
see
you
how he becomes. I mean, yeah, a little bit.
I had to when I was watching it, I already had him sorted. I know about 6 different backstories for Fisk that are currently current going on or whatever, and I had to figure out which one this was because I was like, did I make that up or is that from Spider-Verse or
'cause there's
it's
from
different.
this animated show from the 90s.
Yeah.
Comic book I read.
No,
or-
I was
yeah, there are some.
I'm pretty sure his dad was abusive and he beat him to death. And then they brought it up, and I was like, good, I don't have to go look it up. They told me. in Miles' story Into the Spider, which is currently happening right now, Rachel, I don't really think they talk about his childhood, but he had a wife and a son who are dead, and that's why he's like all pissy. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, probably shouldn't kill people, but you know.
If I let Regina get away with it, I have to start letting other people get away with it. Regina's not bald in a white suit, though. She's really hot. Anyway, Hannah.
She could pull off being bald in a white suit.
She could. She could pull off anything.
I told you I wasn't going to be able to go into depth. Like I have talked in depth about why he's a Hufflepuff before, but I'm just drawing a blank. Like when you watch the scene in Daredevil, like they show you him actually killing his father, TJ, who was a giant Hufflepuff, started maniacally laughing.
Oh man.
And he was like, that's exactly what I would do. It's like,
and you slept really bad that night.
no, I was just, it's the other side of the coin with the Hufflepuffs. Like, it's why you don't want to piss them off.
That's so fun. I love when that happens too, because George is a Ravenclaw, and sometimes we'll get Ravenclaws, and I'm like, look at this. What are they doing? And George is like, what? I would have exactly done that.
I would have done exactly that same thing.
I'm like, oh my God, sleep in another room. Holy shit. But that's as good confirmation as any. That I like, he's the only character that I got correct. Like that I agreed with Lauren on anyway. I say got correct, but I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like that we agree on and it becomes...
Thanks for implying all of mine were correct.
I mean, if you can make good arguments, you know I'm going to agree with you. I pretty much have only fought you on the Grinch and cared. But...
And Jack.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I cared about that. Spiteful. I don't know that I did.
She was being spiteful.
I can't remember anymore. It sounds more likely that I was being spiteful. But I don't know. If I go back and listen to it, maybe in that moment, I felt really, like, real about it. Who knows? Not I. I don't know. I was probably saying some shit, right? I feel like.
Being spiteful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm known to have been at one point in my life. I've changed since then.
I've You're really very grown zen and evolved.
Now. Really. You guys should get me some like chime flute music and just like play it to calm me down when I get like really,
Sun's getting real low.
But I agreed with you completely. This was one where it was just like, I was looking at him and I was thinking about the way that he judges and the way he thinks about balancing the scales and the way that he's like, kill me with a hammer. It's what's right. And I was like, oh, you're one of those. You're one of those Hufflepuffs. So he was probably the easiest sort for me too. And it was the same thing, like total vibes. I was like, holy shit, they're scary, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Lauren has said it before, apparently. I just don't remember.
I have said it before.
I believe you.
It's very much that like dichotomy of like the way he presents himself like to the world in general is like, I am someone who cares about making my community better, and I love the city, and I love the people, and I want to help them. But yeah, if you piss him off or get in the way of him doing that, like it's
every time I've seen him, like cartoon him, it's a white suit.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so when I saw the black suit this time, I was like, that's interesting.
Listen,
I thought you always wore the white suit, which is also fucking crazy. You beat people
I need
to death.
them
Why are
to
you
give
wearing
me.
the white suit?
I don't know if you guys watched the '90s Spider-Man show. But he's like,
it's a funny thing to ask Rachel. Anyway,
he's like the main. Well, I don't know. For millennials,
I watched Gargoyles.
It's not relevant, but awesome show.
Great show that they were superheroes to me.
But on the '90s show, he wears a white suit with a purple ascot, and all I want is for Vincent D'Onofrio to wear this fucking white suit with the purple ascot.
You wore the Hawaiian shirt. I was excited about that.
The Hawaiian shirt I was also excited about, but I want, like, every time he does wear a white suit, I'm like, give me the fucking ascot, you cowards.
I just don't understand the white suit. You're a mob boss and you kill people with hammers. It can't be a great fashion choice.
I think that's what it is. Like, look,
you think it's a threat?
No, it's like I don't get my hands dirty because I'm wearing a white suit. Like
he doesn't normally get his hands
he asked when he beat that guy, he wanted a new suit before he went to see Maya again. Remember, it's all about like appearance, like.
And you have to really fucking piss him off, like on a personal level, for him to kill you with his bare hands. Like he'll just
Bro is like,
Have
they
you
Do
never.
you guys think he was serious about her killing him with that hammer?
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't bluffing,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
Yeah, but I also think
Glad I
I also
interpreted that
think that
correctly.
he didn't think that she would ultimately do it. But he was like, if she does, yeah, she does. You know? He's like, I must deserve it if she does. I don't think I do, but we'll see.
I also think
Wow.
that's part of like he's so
I also think he was like, it was like spiteful too. He was like, I know how I feel about killing my dad. He's like, she's gonna feel bad. Like,
it's
feel-
that
I almost
manipulation that he's always low-key
Sure, yeah.
doing with everyone around him. Like,
I also felt like, are you trying to validate that she sees you as a father figure? Like, he obviously wants that,
no,
you know what I mean?
No, yeah,
so
he was.
is he trying
was
to get her to do it?
Yeah, do
So,
what I
like,
did to my dad,
isn't
and then
that
I'll know in
fucking
death.
crazy?
and then I'll know
Yeah.
that
Death.
Like,
Yeah.
when he's
Father.
everybody also, like, he's about to kill her whole family, he's like, good, you love them. Now I know
Yes.
exactly how much it'll hurt you.
Yeah.
Whew. Ooh, he made my hands sweat
my God,
a
at the
couple
very-
times. He was scary.
At the very end where she is like, you know, doing her chi thing or whatever on him. My friend still went, oh,
What are
she's
you
going
making
to
me
take
feel
his
right
bending
now?
away.
You unzipped me on the bending. That was wild. That was like, he's like, you fucking, what are you making me feel right now? Ugh.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're making me feel empathy. I haven't felt that since I was 10. Fuck you.
I'm usually able to turn that off. That's weird. Yeah, definitely a helpful folk. I'm glad I got one right. I was talking to Lauren before this, and I was like, I need so much help. Like, I really need a discussion about this because I just wanted to talk through my thoughts and figure out why I was landing where I was with certain characters. But he was the one I really didn't struggle with at all.
Oh, he's very easy.
He's really like that Hufflepuff. So, okay, good, great. We all agree. Love when that happens. That makes everything so easy.
I think we normally agree. And if I'm wrong, I'm normally immediately like, oh yeah, you're right.
I don't remember you being very wrong. Very many times. You like,
I think I was wrong about something on the
but I'm sure you were like
episode. I think.
right, just saying the wrong thing, like the wrong house. People do that all the time. I do that all the time.
Probably.
Like, let me analyze this character correctly and then say it's sister house. Like, no, go back a couple steps. Okay, so it is law. He is a Hufflepuff. Where did you land for Maya?
So her, I'm way less sure about, but Slytherin, which I feel like.
Let me just tell you that I struggled.
I feel like it's one of
very
those
hard
things
with
that
her.
feels super obvious, but
exactly was my problem.
Too obvious,
That was my
so it
exact
must be
problem. Oh my
something
God,
else.
we're in the same house. This was the exact issue that I had. I was like,
We are.
The
You
house
could
I
be
told
there,
you,
but
you
you could
said
be
you didn't
there.
see it all. You were like naming
happened?
everything. The house that I told you was the
When
only
I
one
can
that
see a
you didn't
character
give me
in-
anything for it. You were like every other house you
no,
walked
because I
through.
said, look, the obvious one is these two, right? I said that to you. I was like, but I can't see the thing for this one, so I'm moving on from it.
You didn't say it was obvious to me. You just said I can't see it at all. You
Would
went
you
through.
like me to screenshot it and send it to you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Hannah. You take it away while I go find a receipt.
So obvious reasons is that she very much cares about people who are her people, to the point that she will not talk to them if she thinks she's putting them in danger, like with Bonnie. The fact that she is a fucking badass with incredible amounts of ambition because she was like, well, I found out this person that I thought was like family to me, one of my people betrayed me, so I'm going to kill them and take over their empire because obviously I'd be much better at it. What else? Just the way that she like holds herself like in her tracksuit mafia organization, and the way that things just work out for her.
I feel that. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It was definitely a struggle for me because what I was saying, and I'm going to send it to Lauren now because she needs proof, is that I thought the easiest and most obvious answer was it has to be a logic house, right? Because just look at her, like how she reacts to things and what she does. But for me, I really, really struggled for a little bit where I was like, I was agreeing with everything that she was doing to the point that I was like, are you a fucking secret Gryffindor? And I gave all my reasons to Lauren. I probably won't be able to conjure them up now as well as I did in my discussion with her. There's so much anger, which is like a huge factor that like moves many Gryffindors forward. And I was relating her a lot to Emma Swan from Once Upon a Time because I was seeing her family the way she was seeing her family, the way she was fighting with them and like really vilifying them. Like, you abandoned me and you fucking left me. And it was wrong. And the way she was getting so angry about it, I was like, you are so justified in this. They totally did abandon you, leave you there. And I'm watching all these scenes of this poor little kid be like so misguided. And so she needed guidance and she needed help. And she's getting pushed and pulled in these really sad and really traumatic places. And it was very easy for me to project Gryffindor onto her because of that. But the moving factor for me was just her anger, that I was just like, this is really justifiable anger. And when I see that in a character and I really agree with them to the degree that I really agreed with her and like really loved her and wanted to like jump into the screen and be her friend and be like, you're right. You're right about everything. I immediately want to be like, oh, it's my house. I get it. And then Lauren said, I don't remember what she replied all, but like, you can actually take, it's your words. You go ahead.
I don't know which part of what I said you're explaining.
Well, first we have to say what house we think she is.
Well, if she's not a logic. Well,
so I went through
I feel like, Rachel,
right?
you have to go through your whole thing. Like,
I had to go through all of it.
Truncated way too much.
I know. I had to go through. I did this with myself too. I was like, I really don't know. And I was like, oh, a Slytherin can't, because what happened to me was Kingpin reminded me of Thanos so much with like how he was with Gamora. But like the weird parentification, like that shit was weird. And it was a really Hufflepuff way of going about it. So then I started looking at her and I was thinking of Gamora. Like I couldn't help it. But I was like, I don't think a Slytherin would hesitate this much. I don't think a Slytherin would. It really was the hesitation for me. I really don't think she would have thought about it. She put the bullet in his eye once, and I feel like a Slytherin the next time it would have got the other eye. Like, you would have been done. And she does a lot of like laying in wait that also I don't think a Gryffindor or a Slytherin would do. So I sat with Gryffindor for a long time, and then I was like, I don't think she can be a Ravenclaw because I don't see a system. If I don't immediately see a system, sometimes I like pull way back from them. I'm like, oh, I don't know, like, what's motivating you? And I'm saying to myself, what motivates her is her anger. It's her feelings, so she has to be a Gryffindor. But then Lauren was like, no, actually, I think she is a Ravenclaw, and I think her system is the rage. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of fucking sense. And it was like a really interesting conversation to me and just a really interesting concept.
There was something about a bird that happened, and Rachel was really hung up on this bird.
A lot of my problems with Maya was that like, I just have this weird soft spot with kids. And when I see kids like in distress and hurt, whatever, it really, really bothers me. And she had a really good mom and she had really good, like, everything was great. And it all got ripped away from her. And it's like the Harry Potter thing where I'm like, oh, I'm going to adopt you and like, I'll take care of you. It's horrible. And I did that a little bit with her. I wobbified her a little bit. But the bird thing, when I was talking to her, the whole issue with the slingshot and the bird, I told Lauren, the child scenes of Maya were what pulled me off of Gryffindor and put me back into confused land. Because she was like, I didn't want to hurt the bird. I just wanted to see if I could hit it. And her mom was like, well, we don't hurt living things. Like, she had to be told that. I don't really see that struggle with the Gryffindor kid. Like, I don't know that we look for the external guidance so much. I think we actually don't like that. We're like, don't fucking tell me what to do, actually. Like, I'll figure it out. And then the whole thing with Kingpin, where like he's beating the shit out of that guy, and she's like, okay, I'll do that too. The way she's like, again, I don't want to call her a follower. It's the way she's like watching and learning from people and really like imbibing it and taking it in. I don't think Gryffindors watch and learn that way. So the child scenes, like the bird scene, which Lauren helpfully is bringing up, moved me off of Gryffindor. Then I was like, then I don't know where the fuck she goes. Like, because I don't see a system. And Lauren's like, well, the system is the anger. Well, that was like, I was like, oh shit, that makes so much sense to me.
I mean, that's not the first thing I said to you. I said, I think
no, it's not, but you're making me explain everything.
I was thinking, well, I mean, because I got there too, because I wasn't really like putting a name to her system, but I was saying that like that system was provided to her by like first by her dad. Like, she was an isolated little kid and she just had her dad, and her dad was like, I don't want you to be a part of my world, but he was still like teaching her martial arts, and like obviously she was even though she didn't have a job within like the gang or the mob or whatever, she was like close enough that Fisk was her Uncle Fisk. And so she it's like her dad said that she had to learn to walk in two worlds. Like she was a part of this world, but not a part of this world because her dad didn't want to be part of it. And so I was like, I think she was just looking for somebody to tell her like what to do with her feelings. And her dad gave her that walk in two worlds thing. And she was kind of like holding on to that. And then the second her dad died, she kind of went off the rails because she was like, well, that one of those worlds is gone. And she was, you know, obviously hijacking motorcycles for no goddamn reason and making and throwing them at the police and whatever. And just because she was really, really angry and scared and like didn't have her direction again. And then Fisk came along and like gave her a job and a purpose. He literally tells her it's a purpose. Like that's just what she needed, direction. So like he was the one providing her with a new system or whatever. And I told Rachel what I thought was so like beautiful about this show. And by the way, I didn't mention this yet, but I love how they incorporated like why it was called Echo, like the generations echo through you. I was like, that's so beautiful. But the whole point of the show is that she like comes into her own and like she learns herself, and that her own model and her own system is the woman who came before her and who live within her. It's like the thing that her mother gave her. I can't remember exactly what the 4 words were, but it was like courage, strength, strategy, and love. Like that's her. So like that's her system now, to like follow these women instead of following these dumbass men who were all she had. And she was just like, I just need someone to show me how to do all this with all the rage. And so then I was talking about how, because the one thing I was mad about is I was like, Clint Barton told us she was a Ravenclaw, and that just feels like I'm putting too much stock into Clint Barton knowing that. But he did. He was like, you and I are the same. They like fill us with rage, and then they make us a weapon, and then they appoint us at something. I remember that. And so I was like, so I guess you could say that Maya's system was rage. And then her whole thing, her mom was like, you have to let go of the rage, and you have to like feel it and like live in it. And so I was like, that's how I saw it. That's why I thought it was funny too when she was like trying to heal Fisk, and she was like, look at this cool new thing I learned where you can let go of rage and like be happy. And he was like, I'm gonna kill people harder now. Like, so, I don't know.
I was telling Lauren it's definitely like a lesson in woobifying a character, like really falling in love with a character and being like, my baby, and everyone around you is a mean villain, and like they're all wrong, and you're so right about everything you do. Like that is, I fell so deep into that chapter.
Yeah, it was and Rachel was like hung up too. She was like, I don't think like a Ravenclaw wouldn't hesitate on killing somebody either. And I was like, I think you have to think of it like literally, Fisk was like, here is what you need to do in order to like not feel bad anymore. Like you need to come work for me, and you need to do this and blah, 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 blah. As like, he essentially was just like her stand-in Jesus, right? Like he was the head of the system, and he told her what to do. It's hard to shoot Jesus because you're like, what's going to happen now?
Sure.
Like, what the fuck?
That was something we were talking about too. Yeah, like the way she makes them like religious, like these people become like her religion, these then godlike people.
But then she shot him, and she was like, well, obviously now I'm Jesus. Like that, obviously.
That was another struggle point for me too, to really keep her in Gryffindor. Like I really was trying to understand, like how can I like just make it all fit? And we don't hesitate like that very much either. So there was also that problem. I was like, she's hesitating a lot, whereas I don't think, like the last time I saw a Gryffindor really hesitate was with Quill and Gamora, and when he eventually did, it was bubbles in the gun, you know. But
feel like if I had rewatched it, I would have.
It's one of the, for me, it's one of those things where you circle it for a long time until it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I like admittedly did not put a lot of thought into it because I told you I was just going off of vibes for this one. But I really think that as a Gryffindor, I dismiss anger when I'm sorting people for some reason. Probably for the reason that I'm like, it could.
Oh yeah, totally made me biased. Like it hugely biased.
And because I didn't woobify her like you did, but I definitely just was like, well, all of her anger is so justified. Like it didn't even like.
I was so fucking mad for her.
like file into like.
I was so mad for this
thinking
kid. Like
about
I was even looking at the adult her.
Well,
like
I mean,
this poor kid.
I think the way that like she handled the people that she was furious at was Ravenclaw too, Rachel, and not Gryffindor, because she was just like, I'm just not gonna see you. Like, and people kept like being like at one point when she wasn't even mad at Bonnie, but her uncle tells her like, if Bonnie learns you were here and you did not go say hi to her, her heart is gonna break, and she's like, I'm not responsible for Bonnie's heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sorry, that sucks, but I'm here to do a job and get out. Like, but no, there were some gimmies.
I was just agreeing with her so much. The other thing I told Lauren that again, like I was bouncing on and off Gryffindor. That was my whole experience with the show. I was like, oh, she is. No, she's fucking not. One of the oh, she is things was like when she's talking to her cousin, like they're texting. And what did she say, Lauren?
He was like, you have to stop. And she was like, they hit me, I hit back. Like, that's all she said.
So Lauren immediately went, oh, that's a really Ravenclaw, like, power move. And I was like, that's street justice, baby. I'm all for it. Let's go.
No, she was very cold about it. Like, it wasn't like an emotion thing. Like, I'm mad that they hit me. She's just like, just stop doing that. Or this is the consequence.
That's why I said to you, which I just texted you the proof. That's why I said the like easier, like more obvious ones, like your problem with the Clint comment is that it made it too obvious. My problem is that I'm looking at her and she's emoting and behaving like a logic house. I didn't want to land there. I was like, it seems more complex than that. Let me explore the anger and the rage and figure it out.
There were some gimmies too when Henry is like you can't bring war here. Like, you got to stop. And he's like, it's going to be chaos. And she's like, no. I say when it starts and I say when it stops. Mm-hmm. That's controlled. It's not chaos. It's power. I was like, oh, I see.
Just so you know, we've talked about how many Slytherins like that, and Ravenclaws too, that they're like cold face, just chilling, just waiting, watching, biding their time. And so you're looking at Maya and you're like, it's hard not to put you into a logic. Like it's hard not to. And I was like, but I'm up for the challenge, I guess, because I'm watching this poor little baby, and I'm like, he's manipulating you. No, I was getting so mad. When she's yelling at her grandma, I'm like, flip the fucking table on her. She abandoned you.
That's not how she was feeling, though. She was like, bitch, bye. Like, this is why I don't want to talk to you.
When he says, her cousin's like, how was that? She's like, it was fucking exhausting. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I bet.
I see that as large too. And then, like, at the end,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I was just trying to make it fit something else.
But then at the end, like, when she, like, came into her, like, oh, my grandma's a part of me, I'm a part of her, after her mom, like, talked to her or whatever, and she gave her grandma some of the strength, it just, like, you see that it's now, like, chill and okay. Like, all of these people, too, that spoke to her when she's like, why did you do that? All of them basically said, we were scared in some way or another. And I think she, like, got that, too. No, there were, one of the things Rachel and I...
Never forgiven.
One of the things...
That's what I was just gonna say. I knew she was not an emotion house.
See, I told Rachel I could see where Grandma was like. Grandma was wrong. Grandma was selfish and a coward. But I was like, I still understand where Grandma was coming from, because I thought the actress conveyed extremely well how she felt when her daughter died, and I could imagine feeling that way about a daughter dying and just being like, I want everybody to get away from me. Everybody get away from me. Like, I am so broken.
Sure, for a little bit, not for like
you're weak
20 fucking years.
Get away from me. Well, because she reminded her of her daughter. No, but one of the things Rachel and I were talking about too, like, I was struggling because I was like, she's so watchful of everyone, and then we were both like, of course she is, you fucking idiot. She's deaf. Like, she has to be that careful watching people in order to survive. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not. Like, I don't want it to come off like I'm saying like, oh, all deaf people have a predisposition to be in Ravenclaw, because that's not the case. But, like, one step further than that was every time, like, a bad guy, like, grabbed her or came up on her or surprised her, she, like, chilled. She, like, stopped and she, like, waited, and she was, like, watching. Like, I could see, like, even if they were deaf, like, a Gryffindor or a Slytherin, and especially with, like, how skilled she is at fighting, like, going ape shit, like, flipping the fuck out. Like, and she was like, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to... And she wasn't even, I was telling Rachel this too, like, people were talking and she obviously didn't know what they were saying. And she wasn't even really trying to read their lips. She was just like, I'm just waiting until it's time to do something. Like, she was totally chill. And I thought that was extremely Ravenclaw.
It really, really is. And I was telling her too, it was like that was probably, I saw that especially in the kid scenes, and the children, the scenes of her as a kid really, really, like I said, took me off of Gryffindor. And what Lauren was saying was like, I was trying to say it, but in a different way. She's not a follower. She's a watcher. She watches. So she's watching to see her mother's reaction with the bird. She's not emoting very hard, like one way or the other. She's just like, well, I didn't mean to. And her mom, and she's like watching to see what her mom does. And she's just following that train of thought. Then when Kingpin's beating the shit out of the guy in the alley, she doesn't give it a ton of thought. She looks at him covered in blood, just starts kicking the guy. She's like, okay, I've watched this behavior. I've learned this behavior now. And it's like not reactive the way that like when Lauren was saying a Slytherin or Gryffindor would just start going fucking apeshit. It's not reactive that way where we can be.
Yeah, and I don't think like both times we saw her do that, she did what the other person was doing. So I feel like you could fall into the trap of her being like a follower or only doing things because other people do them. But I never got that sense from her. I got the feeling that she watched it and decided, yeah, this is the best thing to do at this time. Like if she had seen something else, she would like if she had seen something that she didn't agree with, she wouldn't have done it. Like
she's assessing the whole time, always assessing everything, but like really quietly. And you don't know what she's doing. There are definitely points like fight scenes where you're like, I don't know, I guess if you're in one of our houses where you're like, fucking kill him, like turn around, get him. And you don't see what she's doing because you're not seeing it from her perspective. Like, you know, I'm not a Ravenclaw, very clearly, where I'm like, no, fucking stab him, what are you doing? And then, you know, her line of thinking was better than mine. I just couldn't be that patient and watchful. So that's something that their house has.
The emotions.
Clint has that too. Clint is like very obviously he's an archer. He's very observant. He's very watchful. But again, it's like Lauren said, not all Ravenclaws are like predispositioned to be archers.
Right. Like, yeah. Like Kate is an archer and she's a Slytherin.
Exactly.
Like she'll fucking shoot you.
It's about the way you observe,
she's
assess
like, I know
the world,
I can.
assess information. And yeah, Clint was right when he clocked her. He really was. I mean, it's an unfortunate obvious answer.
That.
Like that's what I was trying not to do.
I know,
like,
I told Rachel, I was like, I was getting mad that I was probably being influenced by Clint doing that. But I was like, but if Clint sees it in her and he calls a spade, like how am I supposed to be mad about? Like he clocked it. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that line just makes you think immediately of all the things that make
like that makes them
line
similar
up between the two of them.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense.
And there's no talking to her. Like that's another thing too. It's same with Clint. Like Natasha had to chase him around the world to try to get him to stop like on his rampage. And it's the same thing with Maya. Like you can't get to even get her to listen to Clint was like huge, you know, like to even just listen to him speak at the end. Like you can't, when they're on the warpath, that's it. They're locked in.
I was going to say
she's very like that.
The other two things I talked to Rachel about too was just the whole spiritual element of it, where she was like seeing these flashback like memories that she'd never had and whatever. And Rachel was relating it to Emma, but I was like, but she wasn't like dismissive or like unaccepting of it like Emma was. She was just like, I don't know how this helps me right now. So like, I'm not going to talk to anybody about it. And I'm like, fine seeing this stuff, but I'm not totally sure what to do with it. And then they finally drag her to Grandma's and Grandma tells her it's her ancestor speaking to her. And she's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And like her mom shows up to talk to her and she's like, Mom, and she's just like happy to see her, is not like freaked out or flipped out about it by all. She's just like, all right. Very cool. Very cool.
Isn't like, no, I obviously am like, all right now.
The other thing too that I like remembered at the last second when I was talking to Rachel was in Hawkeye, when she shoots her cousin, I was like, yes, he helped get her father killed, which then you would think if she was an emotion house, like, yeah, of course she'd shoot him. But I was like, it wasn't like that. She was begging him to run away with her. She was like, get out of here with me. And he was basically telling her, I can't walk in two worlds like you can. Like, I can't do that. And so she really shot him out of like necessity / pity / like, this is the only thing I can do for you. Like, she was just like, sorry, bro. Like, you got to die, I guess. And it wasn't like emotion driven at all. And she wanted him to get out of there. And he told her that he couldn't. She was like, I believe you. And she shot him.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Some of it, like any Emma Swan thing, I can immediately trace back to the abandoned child thing. I can immediately trace it back to that.
Snow
where I
you
was
bitch.
Like, oh. It's also like the quiet anger. Like Emma doesn't emote quite like many Gryffindors do. Like it's not always on her face. She's kind of she can be blank.
Oh, that's
exactly.
True.
Also, she's forced to like be with the people who traumatized her, and she knows it would hurt them if they saw the trauma, so she doesn't.
Yeah,
great point. Yeah, sadly true. Really sadly true.
So just like what the worst.
Yeah.
And they're not at the same time. Like she's happy to have them, so it's like awful for her. It's
God,
awful.
Emma
I
had a
feel so
really
bad for Emma.
horrible life.
I'm so
Like,
glad
when
that she got a hot ass pirate piece of.
She really deserves that. Her shitty ass parents. Ugh.
She really does.
But yeah,
It was like, I'll literally fall on a sword 20 times for you.
Terrible. That's really terrible. That's really fucking terrible. No, Maya's not quite like that. They're just these weird things. Like, maybe they'd be friends.
I think that they
Like,
would.
maybe I can just see a friendship.
I think that they would too. I was thinking more as we talked about to Rachel, that whole thing. I was like, because I was kind of thinking about like how Kate didn't totally understand Maya and like Clint did right away and how Kate wasn't getting it. And I was like, it makes sense to me how Kate wasn't like getting it. It was just like, it was that little bit of disconnect where Kate was like, I remember, I think Clint did reveal that he was the one who, she knows that Maya was after Ronan who killed her dad, and she knows that Clint was Ronan or whatever. And I think Kate was kind of just like, but Kingpin's the bad guy, so like shoot him. Like, I don't get, like she was not getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where my struggle comes in is that I understood her anger.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't understand her. I don't know. I just agreed with her so hard that I was like, we must be the same thing here. You're absolutely right. But I don't know. I don't remember the show that well anymore. Does she interact with Natasha's sister at all?
No, not really. I mean, they're on the roof fighting together, but
I feel like
Yelena
would
doesn't
have
talk
also,
to her.
Yeah.
I feel like Yelena would have understood her.
I
Though,
think
too.
so.
She would have been like, "You're entitled to all of this anger." Like I just like I get it. I can see how a Slytherin would be like, no, you're not making very much sense, honey. Let's
Or like
change.
do something with the anger. Like, what are you doing? You're doing the wrong
kill
thing.
them. Street justice.
Yeah.
Street eye for an eye. Do it. Yeah. Well, anyway, I loved her. She was my favorite character in the show. I was mad at everybody else, so you know, I'm not going to be very nice
Rachel
to everyone
loved.
except Biscuits. He's fine. Biscuits is fine. He can
Except for
stay.
Biscuits. Of course, Rachel and I both love Biscuits.
Yeah. Well, do you think he's a Gryffindor,
Well,
Hannah?
glad you know why, Hannah, because Rachel did not get it.
No, I thought he was a Hufflepuff. I was like, oh, he's like a sweet, loyal sidekick.
Oh my
like,
God.
It's cute.
I was watching this man in his fucking truck where he's like, Maya, what are we doing? What are you doing? And Maya's like, drive the truck, track me. And he's like, but I've never been off-roading. She's like, do it, bye. And this man's like, all right, I'll drive at 80 miles per hour straight at this brick wall. Don't really need to know why.
I think
like, let's
you,
go, Billy Jack.
I think you, Lauren, put more Biscuit love on me than I had. I didn't have all that love for him. In the scenes where he's with Maya, I'm loving Maya. I'm watching Maya. I wasn't really locked in on him and his like off-roading. I was like, she's so cool. I love her so much.
I didn't think that you would be like locked in on us. I just thought you would like connect with him in the same way that you do.
I'm telling you right now, the second like I saw how angry she was about her family, I was angry about all of them, and I didn't like any of
But
them.
it wasn't
And I was like,
Biscuit's fault or Bonnie's for that matter.
It's not Biscuits or Bonnie's, but Bonnie is a little...
They all annoyed me a little bit. And as much as I even like...
Biscuits has never done anything
He's
wrong
fine.
in his life.
He's fine. He's there. He's not my enemy. But he's just like not one of my favorite Gryffindors. So sorry. He's not Buttons from Our Flag Means Death. I don't know what you want from me. But I love these like funny little nicknames, like Biscuits and Buttons. It's great.
So they don't have anybody else to nickname, so they nickname themselves.
Aw.
I can see how you like think Hufflepuff.
Like the loyalty,
because I
right?
thought that initially too, but I think the reason why he's doing things is the big thing, because like he's not doing it because he wants to be helpful. He's doing it because of familial
That's what I was
obligation.
telling Rachel
That he
too.
just
She
can't
was
say
like,
no.
but he has a place and he's fitting in. I was like, everything he does is contrary to what he's telling you. He's like, Grandma, I'll hate this, and then he's just like driving a truck into walls. And, like,
No, it's true.
He's like,
I really
Maya,
am
is
just
this
guilty
illegal?
of not.
And then he's doing it.
I'm just guilty of not paying attention to him. I'm sorry.
Or
I know you
even-
guys. I think you guys love him more than me.
Even just when he was in the pawn shop, like getting stuff from Maya, and those stupid ass tourists were there buying shit, and Grandpa was behind him. He was like, Sully was behind him, like, don't tell them things to make them buy things. And he's like, you need money. And he's like,
Yeah. Well. All right. Cool. There's a Gryffindor. Good. Great.
I was so excited when he kept showing back up because I wasn't, being thrown into this world where you know no one except for Maya and Fisk. I was like, I hope we see him again because he's a fucking train wreck and I love him.
I immediately, he was very clearly not a logic house. I'm watching him let the fucking guys in the truck through. They're not vendors. They're just like, I'm going to go park over there. And he's like, wait.
But then he's not stupid either. He called Henry and was like, yeah, those guys were up to no good, man. They're going to shoot you.
I know.
And when he
I just feel like I would have been so much angry. I told Lauren, I was like, sometimes when I can't step directly into the shoes of someone,
Rachel,
I have a really hard time
he ran over
getting
12
them.
men with a truck.
That was really cool. Sometimes Hufflepuffs can be cool. I don't know. Okay, I was misguided. I cared about Maya. What do you want from me? I was watching the show for one person. And these side people were my enemy. They left that poor little girl in New York.
Oh my God.
Fight them all. Starting with Grandma. Oh my God. Go ahead. Where is she?
Oh,
I didn't fucking even sort her. I don't care.
So angry. I don't know.
Give her Slytherin
she made me so angry.
No, I think she's a Hufflepuff.
There you go. Okay, sure. I was telling Lauren, I was like, I put the whole family in Hufflepuff because I didn't understand any of them. I was like, you all go
I think
there.
Henry was a Slytherin.
That's
that makes
funny.
you feel better. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Why?
Because he was very logical and he was like, Maya, don't bring this war to this town. And the way that he was arguing with her, he was like, the people in this town, you're bringing this to people who care about you. That's the real problem here. It's not that nobody will fight. It's that they will fight because they care about you. And I don't think you're fully comprehending that or appreciating that.
So you're saying he's Sam Winchester Purgatory? I can see that now.
when she blew up the warehouse and all his people showed up and he was like, we had nothing to do with this, blah blah blah, and they were like, oh, we're gonna get in trouble. He's like, it's all gonna come on me. I'm gonna take responsibility for it. He kept telling Maya that he wasn't gonna be part of the war, and then those people burst in. His fucking lackey sold him out, and he was like, never mind, now it's war because I'm really fucking pissed that all that just happened. And I think that I understood. Maya went after him too, and it was like, "Why did you leave me in New York?" And
that's right, as she should.
Yeah, and he was really heartfelt about it, and he said, "I was confused and I was scared," which both of those things, I understood. Her dad took her away and told her, that everybody in the family was mad at her or didn't want to talk to them. So he was like, "I was I didn't know what your dad took you. I didn't know what to do." Blah blah. And then he was also scared, and I think that. Scaredness was it was this little girl who lost her mom and whose dad took her away and whose grandma had a whole thing, and he was like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do about that. I was scared. So I don't know. I saw him as Slytherin.
I can get behind that. Yeah, that's a good explanation.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. What about
Grandpa?
About Scully?
Yeah. I think he was a Gryffindor.
He's forgiven of all his sins. I loved him.
Gryffindor.
He was immediately forgiven.
For sure.
I don't think he ever did. He
did nothing wrong.
When Maya was in the hospital and Grandma was going off on her dad, and Scully was standing there I don't really agree with any of this, but I'm gonna let her go off and walk away.
Yeah. Also, his flirting. He was just so funny.
His flirting.
He was so funny.
He's very.
We'll take him. We'll take him.
Very quietly competent. Just building shit. And I was like, wow.
The thing with the cameras was so funny. No, I need smaller. He kept pulling out shit. He had it.
The way he kept the sewing machine and didn't even put it out to sell. I was like, oh yeah. He still clearly loved her.
Simp.
She othered the fuck out of everybody and was like,
there were a lot of actors that were from Twilight in this, and I greatly enjoyed seeing them again.
I read a review from somebody who was like, if you watch shows with Native American actors, you can recognize all these people, like Reservoir Dogs, all that stuff, Yellowstone.
Absolutely. I was telling George too when we were watching, I was like, it's like England too. It's if you watch anything English, they keep popping up. It's great, but they're so good. They keep getting high. This show had really great acting. It's definitely something that you can't take away critically. I as they were coming out, I remember seeing some things where people were being really harsh about the pacing, but nobody could dog on the acting. They were so fucking good. Everybody was so good, especially Maya. I'm telling you, I fell in love with her so deep. I was like, please, if I could pluck you out of the screen and just take you with me in my pocket, I would.
I'm always so happy when you actually get emotionally invested in Marvel characters.
I cried, Hannah. I cried. When her mother was talking to her, I was full on weeping. Full on weeping. She comes out in the suit. I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. They're all inside her. I loved it.
I have not seen any of these criticisms that you guys have mentioned, like the couple. I must be, because I'm so deep in like
good. You're seeing the good opinions.
Daredevil type Twitter. I don't know. I didn't see anyone say anything bad about.
No, I didn't see anything bad about the choreography. You can't. You can't. Yeah. There was a fight in a roller rink to Dragula.
Lauren said people.
Oh yes, I did see that.
Hated the Daredevil.
I did see that.
All the Daredevil people. Are
no, not the scene that was in the show. The longer one. They hated the longer fight that was cut.
Oh,
fight scenes were very enjoyable. I really liked them.
Weird take to be mad about.
Well, I think it was that the reviewers saw it and then it was cut. So
okay,
I really just liked that she really looked like if this was real life, she really would kick my ass. Like she was such a good fighter. The choreography was so good that like, I believe she can do all of that in general. Like there's no stunt double. There's nothing. Like she will fucking kill you. It was so believable.
They gave her such a very like signature fight
the
style,
knife on the boot.
Just really cool.
Woo! She's so cool. Can you tell I liked her? I really liked her.
She's very cool.
I told Lauren, I was like,
why you wanted
I have
her
to be really
Gryffindor.
careful with Ravenclaws because you can so easily start excusing some really fucked up shit. Because some of them, like when they get really crazy, like Rumpelstiltskin and Homelander, you have to be really careful what you're excusing in the sake of like, but they're funny, like, and they're cool. They look so cool when they do it. Like, careful. Not that Maya's anything like them, but once I was on the Ravenclaw train, I was like, oh, I have to rein myself in a little bit. Okay. This is my bias because I love these people, clearly. Oh, I have an illness. But she's a great one to be sick over. I love her. Mm-hmm. I don't care.
I would agree.
I really liked the ending, too, because the way they were, like, talking about this show up to its release, like, they were almost outright implying that they were going to go the villain route. That she was going to, like, criminal empire.
She deserves
this
it.
Shit. So, and then, which was like, yeah, she does. And I was like, I will defend her rights and wrongs. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a really cool, natural way to do it in a way that like was very significant for the Native community and also like felt realistic, even though there was like, mystical things involved.
I just feel like Marvel, like the female characters of Marvel, I really get attached to. And I'm like, even when they're wrong, they're right. And like, I know you don't do this with Wanda as like I do.
You're never wrong.
I know that. But I excuse everything.
She's
never
wrong.
been wrong in her life. She was being reasonable.
It's not her fault that she's wrong. It's just that she needs to.
But I would support it. I don't care. Like, I support it. It's fine. I don't know. Just this last wave, the last couple of years where these female characters come in, like they're full power. And I'm like, I really don't blame you. I'm not mad at this at all. Like, go off. I don't care. So I'm really happy they made this. It's sad that it wasn't a movie and like got released in theaters. I would have definitely went. But the fucking Marvel's got that treatment too, which is ridiculous. It was also an actually good movie.
I don't understand how people
They're
see
weird.
That movie and
They're
don't
fucking
love
weird.
It. Like I'm genuinely confused. I just rewatched it and was just as delighted as I was the first time.
Did you guys see Madam Web?
No.
Did you see Madam Web? You're not gonna go.
No, I haven't.
Have you seen Madam Web?
I had planned on it, and the
I have
reviews
no
started
comment. I
coming
haven't
out,
been to
which
the
I'm
theater.
always like,
Okay, I was gonna
I
say.
mean, I haven't seen it.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen enough spoilers.
I've seen enough.
That I'm like, oh, and I realized that it's the same writers from Morbius that I'm like, maybe I'll wait for streaming.
George can't remember people's names, and he was like, the lead actress, this one. Do you know what I'm doing? The fucking 50 Shades.
Yes.
Of like the
Yes.
So every time he's like, and then she like, the actress, that one, he's doing like whipping movements and like chained up moves. I'm like, yes, the woman from 50 Shades of Grey. Great.
That's not where my brain would have gone. I would have been like, like a
It's above
like
the head,
Wonder
Hannah. It's
Woman
above the head.
pose.
Jesus.
Okay, excuse me.
Oh my god, it's killing me.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Yeah, no, I really wish that movie would be good, but I don't think it's gonna be, which is unfortunate. I don't know what Sony does.
I wanted to like it.
They don't bring back Andrew Garfield and make him Dark Spider-Man.
I don't understand why they won't give us Andrew Garfield with Tom Hardy's Venom. Like, I don't get it.
Sad.
Morally ambiguous Spider-Man. They won't do it.
They don't care what the people want.
I know, right?
Well, actually, right now, like, I mean, the rumor is that they're arguing between, like, making the next Spider-Man movie, like, street level or bringing back Tobey and Andrew again. And I'm like, why don't you do all of those things and give Tom his own street level thing and have Tobey and Andrew in their own Sony movies where they
Rachel,
eventually
did you
come
see
back?
Dakota Johnson did do a whole interview where she basically just said, bring back Bully Maguire? She was like...
Oh, yeah. I love her, man. I love her.
She's like, don't see my movie. Make a Bully Maguire movie.
She's fucking great. She's great. She's so pretty. I just want to look at her all day. I love her. But yeah, the movie wasn't... it wasn't good. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't know. And then it's like, I'm looking at how big of a press tour and like how much marketing it's getting. And then I look over at the Marvels that got like nothing until it was 2 weeks before, and it was a fucking actor strike, so they couldn't do any press.
It actually really pisses me off when it's actually a good movie.
They didn't push the movie. Yeah,
it was. Come on. It was actually fucking good. It's not like people are just saying it. It's not like, oh, we're women and we're saying that it's good to support. Like, no, I'm not blindly following shit. It was good. It was well written. It was well acted. It was fun. Whatever. People, maybe people also are just like sick of Marvel. There's a lot of talk about like feeling oversaturated with things. Maybe it's that.
Yeah, but then like just don't.
Right, you don't need to shit on it.
Just don't watch it. I don't know about you guys, but when I don't like something or I'm tired of it, I just don't.
Yeah.
Do that thing.
Yeah, I can be a little bit of a hater, but not to that degree. Certainly won't go that far. I'll like a tweet. I won't make one. Okay, it's too much energy.
Yeah, you're not investing hours of your time into things that you are like.
Speaking of investing hours of our time, though, next up. Lauren and I on the pipeline have so much fun stuff for you. It's so exciting.
So excited.
Actually, I can't wait. We've said it before, right?
Yeah. The first one.
Taylor
and then we're
next.
doing Merlin. And then
the first
rest
of
the
10 Taylor episodes.
I'm so
I've never
excited.
seen it. I'm starting this week. I'm very excited.
Rachel also claims not to remember the myth of King Arthur, so I was like, this is gonna be fucking amazing for you. It's gonna be like a soap opera.
Some shit about a table and heroes.
Opera. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? Like,
well, I'm already confused that Merlin doesn't look like Dumbledore.
Rachel,
that's weird to me, but whatever.
She
hated
it so much that she just did not.
I read all this shit, all the things Lauren likes and talks about, and like all this, like Emma. I read Emma in school. I don't fucking remember. It fell out of my head.
She hated Sword in the Stone?
Hated the animation.
I know. She hated it.
What?
I if you've ever fucking
I don't know if we can continue to be
Monty
friends.
Python.
Yeah, it's not my. I don't know.
Like Rachel,
it's one of those things.
Season.
How are you getting her through Merlin? Is it the gay?
She hasn't started
getting you through.
No, but I see that they're gay, and I can't wait to explore that more.
They are.
Yeah, I told Lauren like my pre-sorts based on gifts that I've seen. I don't know if I'm right. I have no fucking clue.
You guys should record that. Like,
My
record
pre-sorts?
your pre-sorts.
Whatever. The blonde one's a cocky little bitch, and the brunette one is
episode.
like, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know anything about him. Like, not a fucking thing. Couldn't tell you anything. We'll see. The blonde brunette strikes again once more.
Excited.
I told her, I was like, I'll see if I project STL on top of everything.
She said, I'll be fucking furious if this is another Slytherin Gryffindor. And I was like, do you even want me to spoil that much? And she said, no. So I was like, all right.
I'll also be furious if it's a Gryffindor Hufflepuff, because then it's just going to be Dean and Cass to me, and I don't want that. I need to not project onto them. So, do you know what they are, Hannah? Like, do you have opinions about them?
You can't tell
You
her.
wanna
Don't
say
say
your
it out loud.
predictions?
No.
Okay,
I
don't tell
thought
me.
about it, but
mine.
I thought about it a little bit. But no, I won't tell you. But I've like, I haven't really thought about it in depth.
It probably helps that you've heard them
briefly
speak.
in my head while we talked about it.
I don't know what I'm looking at. I have no
I've
clue.
watched the show a couple of
There's
times.
just a hot girl on there and Giles.
But,
so
Eddie
I'm
Spade.
like, yeah, I'm
She is
excited
hot.
about that.
Yeah, Hannah, that's already going to be disaster. I don't even want to go into
What's the
anywhere
disaster
near-
about Giles?
Nothing, Rachel. We're just going to watch the show.
We love
I
Giles.
already know what's going to happen. So I'm just letting it.
I'm gonna love him. I know it.
That's not who I'm talking about, but all right.
I'm assuming it's Taylor first.
No, it's
since you
Taylor
haven't
and then
watched
Merlin
watching
and then the
Merlin
rest
yet?
of Taylor
This
during the
is-
Oh,
hiatus.
I didn't know we were doing it like that.
Taylor
Cool.
and then
Okay.
Merlin.
That's how it was scheduled.
Oh, because we're
Oh
gonna
my
record
God.
all the Taylor
How are
probably.
you?
Like one shot this week. We're probably gonna do it all.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. And
I'm
split
very
it up
excited.
like we
I'm
talked
very
about.
excited to talk about Taylor Swift. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
she agreed to it. Like I was like,
She did. She's letting us all the rights to her songs. We got word
woo!
from Universal Music. They took it from
Uh-huh.
TikTok so we could have it.
That's right.
That's what happened.
Oh man, I can't wait. So that's what's coming. And yeah. See you soon. See you there on the next one. Thanks for being here, Hannah.
Yay.
Thanks for having me.
Yay. Bye.
I
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Sort of Brilliant. If our sorting choices inspired any rage or excitement, we'd love to hear from you. We're open to feedback, suggestions for characters to sort, and solid counter-arguments with citations.
Never forget your citations. You can find us hanging out on Twitter and Instagram at SOB_pod or shoot us an email at sortofbrilliant@gmail.com.
And since we're not above begging, please rate and subscribe to Sort of Brilliant on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please share our posts on social media. And if you're a Gryffindor, maybe you'll inspire sorting fights among your own friend group.
The theme music is Hot Shot by Scott Holmes. Can't wait to sort with you again next time. Bye!